What's up, you guys? Welcome back and welcome if you're new. In today's video, we're going to finally be working on the Jeep JL build. I know we've been putting this off for a while now, but today we're going to finally get started. So we're going to be installing a rough country front bumper. It's going to look awesome once we're done. If you guys do end up wanting to buy it, it's going to be in the description box below. So we're going to be going from this bumper to this bumper. So if you guys are interested on how we do it, please make sure to watch the video. Let's go ahead and now get started and I'll show you how it's done. Alright, you guys, so as always, what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to go ahead and unbox this, show you what comes inside, and then we'll get to the installation process of things. Here is the front bumper from Rough Country. As you can tell, it's a lot more sleek. It just looks way better, and it's a lot skinnier than the actual stock bumper. So that's actually going to help us out off-road. It's going to be for a lot better approach angles in the front. And also, as you can tell right here, this little cutout here and the plate on the top, that allows us to actually run a winch. So in the future, I will probably get a Rough Country winch. As you guys can tell, I do want to keep it kind of all the same brand all the way around on the Jeep. So that's what we're going to be putting there, but that's in the future, of course. So another thing I wanted to point out, as you can tell right here on the fog lights, you can actually reuse your stock fog lights that you have. So that way you guys kind of save a little bit of money and don't have to purchase brand new ones. You can just go ahead and transfer them right over. Another thing I did want to point out is right here, as you can tell, there is a light bar cutout. Cool thing about Rough Country is they actually provide you with the light bar with the purchase of the bumper, and they actually provide the hardware, the wiring harness, just everything you're going to need to install it. Another cool thing, as you can tell right here and right here, that is for the D-ring shackles, and they also provide that as well. So how cool is that, honestly? And then of course they give you all the hardware and everything necessary to install it. So there's the ugly front bumper that we're going to be removing. That's going to be the brand new one. Let's go ahead and now get to it. All right, you guys, so the first step, we're going to be focusing right here on the top of the bumper. So you're going to notice if you come right over here, there's going to be two push clips. So in between the bumper and the grill, there's going to be one push clip right there. I don't know if you can see it on the camera. And then looking right over here, there's going to be another push clip on this side. So the way to remove that is you want to go ahead and get either two of your flathead screwdrivers just like this, or if you guys do have panel removal tools, that'll also help in the process. So all you got to do is just kind of go in between them and then you pop them right up. It's going to be kind of hard to show you guys on the camera, but that's basically what you do. Just like that, it removed. And then now you just want to remove that, which that's easy now. You just get your flathead right under it and it'll pop right out. Just like that. So once you do one side, you want to go ahead and do the same thing to the opposite side. All right, you guys, so now that you removed the two push clips that were right here on the top, now up next we're going to be removing underneath the vehicle. So let's go ahead and go underneath. You guys go underneath the vehicle, you're going to notice in between the bumper and the front skid plate, which this would be the front skid plate here, and then this would be the bumper here. Looking underneath, in between, you're going to notice there's one clip there, one there, one there, one there, there, and there. You're going to want to go ahead and remove that with your panel removal tool. It's super easy. All right, you guys, so this part is going to be kind of hard to remove, these clips, but it's kind of the same thing as the top ones. Just get it in between and kind of work your way around it, pushing it out. So, as you can tell, and then you should be able to free it. And if the back gets stuck, just take it right out, same thing. And just like that, as you can tell. You guys, so once you removed all those 6 push clips that are there, up next you're going to notice right here on the side of the bumper, there's like this plastic shield. Right in there, there's one more push clip there, and on the opposite side there will be another push clip in that same section like this, kind of hidden. So there's going to be a total of 8 push pins all the way around. Keep that in mind. After you remove those plastic push pins, you're going to notice right here you got a plastic shield up front. There's going to be 2 bolts you need to remove. There's going to be one in there, and there's going to be one on the opposite side. That you're going to need to get a 8mm socket and wrench to go ahead and remove those. So let's go ahead and do that now. Once you remove those 2 screws, this plastic shield should come off very easily. I removed that plastic shielding that was right there. Up next, you're going to notice right here, keep this in mind, I am on my passenger side of the tire. Let me show you guys why. Let's go underneath. So looking right here, you're going to notice there's going to be a harness there. Of course, like I said, this is the passenger side. So that harness is actually connecting the fog lights together. So noticing right here, there's going to be like a little push pin on this side. Like I said, passenger side. And then it should release it just like that. Once you've unplugged the harness, which is for the fog light here on the passenger side, up next what you're going to want to go ahead and do is focusing here You're gonna notice there's a metal skid plate that's right here. We're gonna need to remove that. So it's gonna be a bolt right here and a bolt right there. They're gonna be silver. Those are gonna be a size 16mm socket. So go ahead and remove that now. So once you remove the two 16mm bolts, all you gotta do is literally push up on it just like that, and it'll release. So once you remove that metal shielding here, if you guys do remember, we removed the metal shielding. Looking over here, we already removed the harness for the fog lights. So if you guys do see right here where the fog lights are, there's going to be two nuts. So there's one nut there, one nut there. Looking on the other side, there's going to be one nut right there, one nut there. So total of 4 nuts on the passenger side. Looking on the driver's side, there's 1, 2, and then 1, 2. And that is going to be a size 18mm socket to go ahead and remove those. So let's do that now. And I am going to be honest with you guys, these all 8 nuts that you need to remove are seriously really hard. They're torqued on. So just kind of give it some leverage and that'll release. So once you removed all the nuts that are in the back, let's go ahead and now go back to the front of the car. Now that we removed the 8 nuts that were in the back, so now we can go ahead and remove it. Just remember, make sure to unplug the actual fog lights or else you're going to rip something. So in this step, if you have help, that would be helpful. If not, just go ahead and wiggle this out. It should come right out. This comes right out. And one thing I did want to note, this bumper is actually really light compared to that one. So if you guys are scared of sacrificing weight, think about it twice. I don't mind it. It's going to look awesome and it's going to help us out, like I said, off-road. So we'll sacrifice that little bit of MPG to go ahead and give this rig a good bumper. Let's get it. All right, you guys, moving back over to the stock front bumper, we're going to need to remove some stuff to go ahead and get the fog lights out so we can transfer them over to the brand new bumper. So you're going to notice right here, there is going to be on each end. So this is one end right here, and then that's going to be, of course, the other end of the bumper. We're going to focus on one side for now. There's going to be 7 bolts that we're going to need to remove, and that's going to be a size 7mm socket. So there's going to be 1 there, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 down here. Like I said, it's going to be a 7mm socket to go ahead and remove this plastic trim here to get the fog light out. Let's do it now. Once you've taken off those 7 little screws, up next you're going to notice it's still kind of caught. What it's caught on is the harness for the fog light. So to remove that, you're going to get your panel removal tool and just work it out. Just kind of play with it little by little. It should come right out. Just like that. This whole panel is now removed, and now it exposes the actual fog light. You're going to get the harness, which is here, connected to the fog light. Let's go ahead and unplug it for now. So just like that. Now to remove the actual fog light right here, at least for this 2020 Jeep JL, you're going to need to get a Torx bit. My Torx bits are a little bit mixed up, but I believe it looks like a T20 Torx bit. So let's go ahead and remove that now. Once you have the 3 uninstalled, the fog light should come off easily. Let's go ahead and now do the same exact steps that we did on this side to the passenger side, and then we'll go on to the brand new front bumper that we're installing. All right, you guys, so now that we took off the stock fog lights from the stock bumper, exactly the side that you took them off, you want to go ahead and now go onto the brand new bumper and transfer them over to that same side. So for example, the one that I have here in my hand is for the driver's side. So this is going to be the driver's side. So the cool thing about, if you guys do have a JL like us, you're literally going to need to just drop them in and install. Now if you guys do have a JK, I'm not quite sure on the install on that, but I do know you guys need to install the brackets that are provided. So there's going to be some hardware left over for us. Since we don't have a JK, we have a JL. So it's basically going to go in its position, and it's only going to go in one way. You guys did put it in the right way. So right now what we're going to do is we're going to grab one of the smallest. There's going to be in the baggie, there's going to be small screws, small washers, small lock washers, and small nuts. So what we're going to need for this installation process here is going to be 3 of the little screws, 3 washers, 3 lock washers, and just 1 nut for this process here on 1 fog light. I'm going to grab 1 of the screws. I'm going to grab 1 of the lock washers, slide it right in there. I'm going to grab 1 of the washers, slide it right in there. And then we're going to move on right here. So on this side, you're going to need, of course, the 2 screws to go ahead and lock it down. And then on this side, you're going to need just 1. So the one with the 2 on this side, you're not going to need a nut for it. It threads right into the metal bumper. They already have it threaded for you. So you want to just go ahead and start it off by hand, and then you want to do the same thing with the opposite side. For this opposite side, you are going to need a nut. So you're going to get a little screw, lock washer, and this part is going to be a little bit difficult, I'm not going to lie, but it is possible. So the nut, you're going to have to hold it somehow in the back over here, and then the screw is going to go from the top. So I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to show you guys too well, but here's the screw. One thing I did want to note on the fog light, when you guys are doing this side, what I would do is I would get a washer and then the nut for the bottom side over here, and I would actually do this side first before you do this one. So as long as you're good with your hands, you'll be good here. And that little bag of hardware, there's also one of these Allen keys. That's the exact size for these. So I'm gonna go ahead and now tighten it down, and then we'll do the same exact steps to the opposite side. All right, you guys, so of course, now that we removed the stock fog lights and we transferred them over to the brand new Rough Country bumper, up next, what we're gonna be doing is removing the stock fog light harness, which is right here, as you can tell. And it's actually sandwiched in between this metal plate here. So to go ahead and remove that, we are gonna need a panel removal tool in the next step. So get a panel removal tool, and you are gonna need a size 13mm socket. I'm using an extension with it just to make my life a lot easier. But basically, we're gonna be removing this silver bolt that's there, this silver bolt that's there, that one, and that one. So it's gonna be a total of 4. So let's start that process now. Once you remove that, this should be able to pull up. So as you can tell, it comes right off. So the reason we need to remove that is to actually access our wiring harness, which is here. So that's where we're gonna go ahead and get our panel removal tool. So to go ahead and remove these, they're just held in with clips. I'm going to start off with the side that only has one harness connection. So you just sandwich in your panel removal tool, and you ever so slightly push out, and same thing all the way around it. We're going to go ahead and transfer, of course, this harness to the brand new bumper. So something I could suggest to you guys, I don't know if you guys are going to sell your stock bumper or keep it, but either way, if I was you guys, I'd put everything you're not going to use back together, put all the bolts back together that you're not going to use, just that way you don't lose anything. So we're not going to, of course, install this back anymore, but we are going to put it together just like I said, so we don't lose anything. And if down the road we want to go back to stock or sell it, we have it intact. All right, you guys, so now we're going to be installing the harness onto the brand new bumper. So let's go ahead and pay attention to this. So of course, like I was telling you earlier, on one side there's only one connection. On the opposite side there's going to be 2 connections. So the one with the 2 connections on that end, you want to make sure this is going to be towards the passenger side. If you guys do remember, we took it off from the stock bumper on the passenger side. So when you go to reinstall the brand new bumper, you're going to need to install that harness there. So let's go ahead and now install first the fog light section. So of course it's going to be this brown clip here. So let's go ahead and clip it right in. It should only go in one way. You got to make sure you hear it snap. Once it does, you're going to, of course, let this dangle for now. So there is the connection that's going to go connected to the stock harness of the Jeep. And then you're going to notice right here, you may have trouble putting it around, but if you look carefully, in between this section here and this here, there's actually cutouts where you can pass the wire through. So you want to make sure to pass the wiring through there, just like that, all the way, just like that. Super easy, nothing too hard about this. And then you're going to go ahead and come over here to where the next fog light is going to be. So where that fog light is, same thing, it's only going to go in one way. Go ahead and reconnect it, make sure it snaps in. All right, you guys, so of course, once you have the 2 fog lights connected, you're going to notice you're going to have some access wiring. So in this section here, if I was you guys, I'd get some black zip ties and go ahead and zip tie this together, just so you don't have wires just kind of hanging everywhere. All right, you guys, so of course, now that we've zip tied our wiring harness for the fog lights right here, everything's basically done. Now up next, what we're going to need to do is inside the package, it's going to come with 4 of these clear plastic washers. You're going to notice these are going to be holders. You will see where we place them in a bit. And then it's also going to come with 4 of these flag nuts. So as you can tell, they're right here. So basically, I'm going to go ahead and grab one, and I'll show you guys where it goes. And I'm going to go ahead and grab one of those plastic clear washers. So what we're going to do here is the bolt side is going to be facing up towards the top of the bumper. We're going to go ahead and slide it right in just like that, as you can tell, and then slide this in. And you want to go ahead and get your clear plastic washer, slide it over the tab right here, all the way to the bottom. So what this is doing is just keeping the bracket in place. So that's what that's for. So let's go ahead and keep going. I'm going to go ahead and do the next one. Same thing. I'm going to grab another one of those clear plastic washers, slide this right in like that, and then I'm going to put this right over. So that's just holding the bracket in place. So that way when we go to install, it makes our life a lot easier. You guys will see. So just like that. And once we do it on one side, let's go ahead and now focus on the other side. And we're going to do the same exact steps right over here. All right, you guys, so of course, if your rough country front bumper did come with a light bar, we're going to be installing it first before we actually put it onto the car. You could actually install this after once it's installed. But since I am recording this for you guys, I'm going to go ahead and install it right now so you guys can see kind of what I'm doing. So if you come a little bit closer, I'm going to go ahead and show you guys just kind of how this goes installed. One thing to note on how this is going to be facing forward, you're going to notice right here there says RC, and right here it says RC for, of course, rough country. So you're going to want that, of course, once it's installed on the car, which is going to sit like this, you're going to want those letters to be, of course, facing the correct position. So the way you're going to do that is when it goes inserted here, you're going to want this harness to be going towards the driver's side. So just keep that in mind. This harness has to be going towards the driver's side. That's how you know you installed this correctly. One thing I did want to know on this harness, I know you may be afraid, oh damn, there's going to be wires hanging. Don't be, because right here, Rough Country actually provided a big enough hole so the harness can actually fit through. So all your wiring is going to be hidden and tucked away underneath. So it's going to be for a nice clean install. So I have that wire tucked in right now. So now looking over here, this is the hardware that came provided with the light bar. So you have it for different applications. So there's a baggie with this number 947-00008. That's the baggie that we are going to be using for this Jeep JL. We're just going to need this hardware. There's also another one with this number. There's another baggie separate with all this right here, including the tools needed. And then there's another baggie here with these rubber things. I believe these are just for sound, like to kill the sound, the wind noise. They go on the back of the fins of the light bar. We'll install those after. These are not really important. Like I said, this is the baggie we're going to be working with. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab one of these bolts, one washer, one lock washer. So the lock washer is going to go first, then washer, and then we're going to do the same thing with the other bolt. One bolt, lock washer, washer, and then we're going to grab the two spacers. So we're going to go back to the bumper over here. So basically these spacers here are going to go on each end. So one's going to go here and one is going to go on this side here. So let's slide the light bar in right there. Another thing I did want to note, you're going to notice there's a cutout right here. That's where your wire is going to be tucked. So it's going to go in through there and then in through this hole here. Wiring's there. So this whole bumper is going to be for a clean install. So let's go ahead and put our spacers so we can get ready to install it. So we're going to do one by one. So we're going to do one side first. I'll go ahead and do this side because I know it's going to be a little bit more of a pain since the wire is there. So I'm going to try to hold and show you guys as best as possible. There's the spacer there. Now I'm going to get that bolt, lock washer, and washer. I'm going to try to feed it right through, installing it onto the light bar. And you want to do this by hand first. Don't use any tools. And don't tighten it down all the way just yet. You want to make sure you put it in the other side. All right, you guys, so now that we have the light bar installed, now we're going to finally be ready to actually mount it onto the vehicle. So now you want to go ahead and get your hardware. So as you can tell, we already have this mounted here, like I showed you guys in that last clip. As far as the hardware that comes provided, you're going to need 2 of these bigger bolts. So 2 of those. You're going to need 4 of these big washers, 2 of these big nuts, and 4 of these lock washers. Looking right over here, you're going to need the same exact hardware. So right here, if you guys do have a buddy or someone to help you out, this is going to be the best time to call them and just tell them to come help, because this part is not going to be easy if you're doing it alone unless you're super strong like the Hulk. So I'm going to hope I'm the Hulk right now. If not, you're going to see me struggle. So of course right now I have it kind of somewhat held into place. So right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and start mounting it to the actual frame of the vehicle. I'm gonna go ask for help because I don't want this thing to fall, of course, on my head. So I'll get back to you guys when I get that started. So now that I'm done with one side, I'll show you guys what I did, and then we'll go ahead and show you guys on camera how to do it. So if you could see right here, there is at the top, there's gonna be a washer, lock washer, and then there will be a nut. And then right here at the bottom, there's gonna be a washer, lock washer, and then a bolt. And then looking on the opposite side of, as you could tell right here at the top, there's gonna be another nut, lock washer, and then a washer. Right here at the bottom, there's gonna be the bolt, lock washer, and washer. So those are the four holding it on to the bumper. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, this part, it's easy, it's just kind of tedious. So now that we finished up one side, let's go ahead and focus over here on this side. So we're gonna be doing the same exact steps to the opposite side, of course. So as you can tell, I haven't done anything here. At the top, all I'm gonna do is put a washer, a lock washer, and then I'm gonna put a nut. So that's just gonna kind of help me out in placing the bracket in its correct position. I'm gonna hand tighten first, and then I'll go ahead and go to the bottom. Now on the opposite side, we're gonna be doing the same exact steps. So you wanna go ahead and get your washer, put it over the stud. You wanna go ahead and get your lock washer, same thing, put it over the stud. And you wanna go ahead and get your big nut and just tighten it down by hand for now. Now all we have is the bottom one left. Grab your big bolt, grab your big locking nut, locking washer, grab your big washer, and then let's go ahead and thread it through by hand. Alright you guys, so now that we have it done like that, all we got to do now is basically torque all the bolts down that we have at the bottom, and then we're going to go ahead and let's go ahead and now just connect our fog lights. So if you remember, they went connected here, so it literally just pops right in. Make sure you hear the clip. There you go. Alright you guys, so as you can tell, bumper install is finally done. It looks freaking awesome. I'll show you guys right now in the light. I'll back up the vehicle so that way you guys can see it. But basically all we have left to do now is installing the shackles that were provided, one here and one here, and then we'll go ahead and wire up the light bar and we'll be done. It's going to be that simple. So let's go ahead and start with this bad boy right here. Alright, so now that we have these two D-shackles installed, the cool thing about these bad boys right here is when we go to install our winch, of course, like I said, I still need to get that. I need to go buy it. It's most likely going to be a rough country winch since I do want to keep everything the same. But once we do, we can go ahead and tie it down to this so it could give it a cool, aggressive look in the front. Now we can go ahead and remove these rubbers that were underneath. We do not need those. And let's go ahead and now wire up the light bar. So to do that, it does come, of course, provided with the wiring. So looking right here, let me show you guys. This part right here, it's a weatherproof with a seal and a connection. This part is going to go connected to the light bar. So if you guys do remember, we have the connection back over here somewhere. We're going to go ahead and tie that off to that. And then looking right here, it's going to come with a red, which is a positive. That's going to go connected to the positive of the battery. Comes with the fuse. Has the black, which is a negative. You're going to connect that to the negative of the battery or somewhere that you can ground it off to the vehicle. It has a relay, of course, installed into it. And then this section here would basically go installed inside the Jeep, which would be the push button, so that way you could hit the switch. The cool thing about this specific Jeep that we have, it already came pre-installed from the factory. It is a 2020 Jeep, like I said, so it was an option to have the pre-installed switches. So ours has that. So the cool thing with us is we're literally just going to connect it to the light bar. We're going to chop the wire right about right here, and we're going to wire it straight to the switch panel in the engine bay that came from Jeep. So it's going to make our install a lot easier. But if you guys don't have that, you guys have the option to still install it with the rest of it. So let's go ahead and go underneath the vehicle. And right here, right before the relay, all I'm going to do is go ahead and cut it off. As you can see, there's a red and a black. That's going to be our positive and negative. That's going to go into our integrated switches. I'm going to, of course, connect it to this. So one thing I did want to show you guys on this connection, you're going to notice there's a notch in there, and then the 2-pin. You just need to find the notch in this one. So that one is the male, of course, as you can see it there, and then the two males coming out right there. We're going to go ahead and connect those. They only go in one way. So let's do that. Let's line that up. Push it in real good so it gives it a nice tight seal. Once you've done that, go ahead and grab this cover. And cool thing about rough country, they made it twist on. So it's going to twist on a lot better, and it's going to keep a better seal. Go ahead and now start running our wire. Run it through here. And I'll probably add another zip tie or two, just so that way everything stays intact. Of course, and now that we have the wiring here, basically what we did, of course, it's running underneath the vehicle. I put it behind the grill here. I fed it through, came out through here, just kind of went around here, and now it's here. So of course this is the wiring, and like I said, if you guys do have a Jeep JL that comes pre-wired with switches, this is an option when you guys do buy it. So it's a cool option to get. You're going to notice right underneath this black tape, I already kind of unraveled it. There is going to be 4 connections. So this one here, I already have my ditch lights connected to. Shout out to Dynamics on that one. So now I have only 3 switches left, which is right here. So these bigger, thicker ones, they're more for like installing, I believe, winches or air lockers, just something that takes a lot more power. If I'm not mistaken, I think these are 40 amp pre-wired switches. The one I'm going to be installing it to is right here. I believe that's a 15 or 20 amp fuse. So that's what I'm going to be tapping into. So all we're going to need to do is, as you could tell, we do have our wire from the Rough Country light bar. What we're going to be doing here is we're going to go ahead and just open it up a little, get some wire splicers. Here's the black right here. That's going to be our ground. I'll show you where that will go in a minute. Here's my wire splicers for this one. Just a little bit more. All right. So what we're going to be doing here is the red one is going to go connected here because this is the positive for the switch. As far as this black one here, as you can tell, I have my Dynamics ditch lights connected to it. Reason why is because this is a good grounding source. So I'm going to go ahead and put the black one there as well. So let's go ahead and start with this right here. When tying this down, of course, there's different methods in installing a light bar as far as wiring and all that. You can solder it, you can use different butt connectors. What I like to use is a butt connector that has solder in it. Let me go ahead and show you guys. These are the butt connectors that I like to use. Reason why is, like I said, they have solder in it, so it's like a 2-in-1. So I'm going to go ahead and just slide one side right in there. Make sure it's passing that blue there. And then I'm going to slide this other side right in there. You get yourself some heat. And you heat it up and the solder will melt on its own. Alright, so we're just going to go ahead and let this cool down. Like I said, cool thing about this, it solders it together so that way you know you have a nice good connection. So for the negative side, I'm going to be adding a spade just like this, and I'll go ahead and crimp this down. I like to give it a tug just to make sure it ain't going nowhere. It's not going to fall. So as far as the black one, like I said, we're going to be putting it here. So the bolt that's there, that's going to be a 10mm nut. You want to go ahead and remove that. I'm just going to go ahead and slide that in there, reinstall the nut, and tighten it all the way down. So there's our solid connection. So up next, what I'm going to do is, if you guys do have this type of tape, which is Tessa Tape, I would highly suggest purchasing some. It's freaking awesome and it makes everything look clean. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and tape all this off, tuck it in the engine bay, and just make it look nice and clean. Let me go ahead and start on that process now. Right here, as you can tell, we did all the Tessa wire loom tape. Now it looks super nice and clean. So we do have some access wire, of course. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm just going to go ahead and put everything together right here, and then I'm just going to put a zip tie just so it's kind of clean and out of the way, of course. So we're going to go ahead and close the hood, show you guys the finished process, and test out that light bar. Now that we have everything wired up, installed, we're good to go. We'll show you guys right now in a minute how it looks. I'm going to go ahead and now put the factory metal skid plate. If you guys did purchase a skid plate, that's where it'd go right here. We didn't, so we're going to go ahead and install this one just for now, which is the factory skid plate. Just slides right in, and then you rebolt it with the size 16mm socket, and then you're done. All right, you guys. Damn, I'm just kidding, but that looks freaking sick. So as you guys can tell, we got the Rough Country front bumper now installed. It looks freaking awesome. I'll be 100% honest, I didn't expect it to look this good, but now that it's installed, it looks good. So as you can tell, we do have a Dark Vader grill in the front, and something we did notice, it has the same cutout like the headlight grill that we have here, as you can tell. So we thought that was pretty cool. It matches it. It looks freaking awesome. So all it's missing now is, of course, the winch. Looks a little bit funny. And another thing, down here at the bottom, it's also missing a skid plate. So hopefully we get that pretty soon as well. Up next, we need to do, of course, the rear bumper, but that's going to be for a separate video. If you guys are interested, make sure to stay tuned, be subscribed. And if you guys are interested in the Tacoma videos, like I said, same thing, be subscribed and stay tuned for that. Overall, it looks freaking awesome. I didn't expect it, like I said, to look this good. When you guys are installing it though, make sure you guys align the bumper correctly. I slightly misaligned it, so the bumper's sitting slightly a little bit off. You can barely tell, but it bugs me knowing that it's, you know, slightly off. So yeah, there it is, you guys. I hope you guys enjoy it. So if you guys did like today's video, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.
JesseRizo is here for you. It's here for you, now. Like I said, it's super simple. Please feel free to subscribe.